Hi, my husband and I installed this backsplash and we want to show you how we did it.
All right, I want to start this off by saying we are not experts or professionals whatsoever. We're just do-it-yourselfers. That being said, in order to do this yourself, first thing you're going to want to do is go to Home Depot or some type of store and rent a wet saw. Now I got a wet saw with a sliding tray that made things nice and easy, so I could slide the tile into the saw. It was about 30 bucks for a day at Home Depot, I believe. I ended up renting it for 2. And once I had that, I began to lay out the pieces of tile in the sections where I wanted them, mark off the tile, take them out to the saw, and there I made my cuts. Once I had all my cuts made, I brought the tile back in. I used pre-mix adhesive and grout that I got from Home Depot, and I went ahead and just slathered that on the wall with a trowel. Once I got everything slattered on the wall, I went over it with a grooved trowel to create texture. I found that the fine tooth trowel worked a lot better than the ones with the big teeth. I think these are more for if you're tiling a floor, but the fine tooth ones worked out for me. So once we had the surface prepped with all the adhesive, it was just a matter of taking the cut tile pieces and placing them onto the wall itself. Then I just used this little grout float to apply pressure to the tile so it really seated well into the adhesive. I got all the pieces in, used a little tile cutter, a little glass tile cutter to cut some small little pieces to fill in around the window, and then gave everything a good wipe down with a sponge and let everything dry. And the following day, we started the grouting process.
For the grout, we decided to go with a bright white grout. That way it would make these gray colors pop and would bring in the white from the cabinets above. I ended up using this non-sanded grout we picked up from Home Depot. This was definitely more quantity than we actually needed, but more is better than less, right? I prefer to use the dry unmixed version of the grout instead of the pre-mixed stuff. And that's just because I want to be able to dictate how much water I'm going to be adding to it. Personal opinion, to each their own. So that's what we used here. And once I mixed it into my little bucket, I used this baby to slap it on. And go ahead and just free will it here. So I scooped up here using this tool, slapped it on this, and went straight across. And it is important that you lay something down because grout's going to be dropping. But it's very easy to clean up. So anyway, used this to scrape across the tiles like this. And this also came handy in the nooks and crannies. Actually, I gotta tell you, I used gloves and I just hand scuffed sometimes in these corners to get up in there. Sometimes the tools just don't get it right. So I used my hands and got it up in there into the corners. And so after I put on all the grout, just got a big bucket of water, 5-gallon bucket, and started sponging off the excess. So this is handy for your bigger sections, and this came handy for the smaller sections. It's a constant ringing and ringing, and then when it's all done, you got to get back to some clean water so you can really see the results. And as you can see, it came out stunning. We are so happy with how this turned out. I encourage anybody who's looking for a little kitchen renovation, consider the backsplash. It was definitely a bonus for us. So now that you've seen our backsplash and the process that we went through to install it, I want to show you the rest of the place just to show you where we're at with everything and what is to come. So let's start from the front and we'll work our way to the back. So as you can see, we've gotten most of the painting done, the walls, upper cabinets, as well as the lower cabinets. We will be having a video on all the painting process later, so stay tuned for that. And the next is going to be the flooring. As you can see, it's going to be gorgeous when it's installed. And the white is going to be the floorboard area, and just going to make it very clean looking. But that gray, oh, I'm so excited. and you know there'll be a video on that. So I'll take you back through, and I love the way that you can really see here the colors, the white on the top and the dark gray on the bottom, the contrast. I really love that. And of course that backsplash, it really pulls it all together. It's fantastic. So happy with how everything turned out. As you can see, these are the last few cabinets that we have to wrap up. And then the painting will be just about done, you know, other than the touch-ups that are always required. But so far, so good. And the end stretch is so near. Well, that wraps up where we are today. Stay tuned for a video on the painting process, the flooring process, and of course, the finished product.